plenty to talk about, Mick. The one name that's on the edge of every Celtic fan's lips, it seems at the minute, is Odsonne Edouard. It was trending nationwide on X last night. Is he a guy that you would think they'd go for?
Listen, I think there's an awful lot of factors at play that have to fall into place for Odsonne Edouard to come back to Celtic. For a start, there's a fee that would be required. He's here to go his contract at Palace. They'll want a chunk of money back. I think they spent about 15 million quid on him for Celtic a few years ago. I think they imagine they want about 10 back at least. Also, the fact he's on a major salary down there, it's way above what Celtic would pay. Kind of salary.
I think it's about 100 grand a week or something, Mick.
What? I think hearing numbers north of 80 anyway, which is way above Celtic's kind of wage levels. So he's not going to be able to get back to that easily. So unless it's a kind of payoff or whatever, or some kind of bumper sign-on fee, I don't know. But I think a lot needs to happen. I just think that maybe he's looks like a guy perhaps destined for a kind of the Saudi League or the MLS or something like that. You know, there's that look about him, I think. I just think maybe it's a bit of a stretch for Celtic. I think, listen, they'll be keeping an eye on it, and if the option come up, they'll explore it. But I don't think they'll get very far, to be honest with you. I don't think it'd be a move that would make financial sense to Celtic at this point in time. They know he's a good player. I don't quite buy the kind of notion that he downed tools and all that last time round. I think he still scored 20 odd goals that season, his final season at Celtic. I think he would be a great addition to that team. Rodgers knows him, knows how he plays. I think he'd be a fantastic addition. I just think there's too many hurdles to clear to get to that to get to happen. So I can't see it, I'm afraid.
As an actual player though, Keith, just as a player alone, not factoring in the finance, he's surely a player that Brendan Rodgers would want in his squad.
Well, of course he would. I'm sure he'd want Lionel Messi as well, and one or two others. But there are some deals that are financially just out of reach. And this one sounds as if it might be. Although I will add the caveat, Daniel, as we've discussed, with a whole bunch of other potential targets for Celtic this summer, it really depends what happens over the course of the window. Because if it gets down towards the end of the window and he ain't budged, and Palace are desperate to get a deal done, even just to bring the wages down, if they have to pay, they might have to pay an element of the wages to get him out on loan. This is one of those situations where you might be left waiting, right, hanging right up until the end of the window before you know what the situation is going to look like for Edouard and where his most likely destination is. He could have 3 or 4 options in the fire. They could all fall down for a variety of reasons. And he could be one of these players that's left when they get towards the end of the window thinking, right, we need to find a place for him. At which case, and we've talked about this with like say Evan Ferguson as well, these guys are, not £10 million, if that would be the fee, isn't over and above what Celtic could afford to pay. But £10 million then plus the wages that would be required that he might be offered elsewhere, that's becoming really, really difficult to match. So I would mark it down in the unlikely category, but I wouldn't rule it out completely because I have said repeatedly, Brendan Rodgers will be looking for a player that he believes makes a difference, an improvement, a significant improvement to Celtic's attacking options. And I think that there's no doubt about it. Odsonne Edouard on the Odsonne Edouard that the Celtic fans remember watching, he makes that starting 11 better. But whether or not, once they've gone to the English Premier League, it's difficult to get them back on a financial package which is going to satisfy them. Kieran Tierney's slightly different, obviously. He'll still be very handsomely rewarded by Celtic in terms of his remuneration, but there was an element there of that the heart ruling the head or the heart ruling the bank. Kieran Tierney wanted back to Celtic. I don't think Odsonne Edouard could claim to have grown up in the streets of Paris hoping to end his career at Celtic Park one day.
At 27, this could be his last big payday as well. I mean, Kieran Tierney had the emotional draw to Celtic.
Yeah,
he's not the norm. I mean, that. Kieran Tierney could have walked into a Premier League team in England for double the wages. Because by the way, there was 4 or 5 lined up to take a shot of him. So he's back for his own personal reasons. obviously not motivated by money as much as some, but I would expect Edouard will be. Like his agents will be trying to get a good deal from somewhere. 27, the next one's got to be a cracker for him, really. Could set him up. So I just can't. Like he says though. I mean, Desperation does funny things in the window. It might be that it's a live one then, but at this point in time, I would imagine he'd be hedging his bets and see where he's going next.
This generated quite a strong response in the comment section, and I should say, if you want to get involved in the discussion, please do so. We'll try and read them out. Stuart says, for me, taking Edouard back is an absolute no-brainer. He'd be fantastic. Put the fear back into Premiership defences. Makes sense to me. But Mitchell says, not for me. Hasn't kicked on. But the far bigger issue is we should have a clear strategy for recruitment, development and sales. And you don't see how he fits. He's on a high wage. No real upside on the fee. We need Edouard Mark II. John says he'd take him in a heartbeat. We had this one though, Keith.
If it's a loan deal for a season and you finance that, then you say yes, but you can't justify spending £10 million just now on him at 27 on a 4-year deal when he's going to be 31 at the end of it and not worth a boat. So it doesn't make
an asset. Yeah,
it's not the Celtics model.
Yeah.